Good morning, Bitcoin. Today is Wednesday, April 25th, 2018. My name is Thomas Hunt, and here's what's happening today in Bitcoin. Live from Denver, Colorado. More on that later. The price of Bitcoin was down 7.26% in the last 24 hours, with a last of 89.53, a high of 97.50, and a low of 87.57. That's $1 for 11,175 Satoshis. The Mayer multiple is 0.92 with a Bitcoin price of around $9,000 and a 200-day moving average of 9,800. The Mayer multiple has been higher 78% of the time, with an average of 1.57. Why one investor is predicting Bitcoin could hit $700,000 a coin. It's because it competes with gold, and it's better. John Pfeiffer, a partner at the London-based family office Pfeiffer Capital, is not only betting on Bitcoin, but giving it a bold target of $700,000. While Pfeiffer did not put a time frame on his prediction, his target exceeds even optimistic forecasts from other influential investors such as venture capitalist Tim Draper, who earlier this month predicted the Bitcoin price would reach $250,000 by 2022. As Pfeiffer said, Bitcoin is the first viable candidate to replace gold that the world has ever seen. So if Bitcoin becomes the dominant non-sovereign store of value, it could be the new gold or new reserve currency. Impressive prediction. Of course, Mad Bitcoins has already predicted the price of Bitcoin at infinity. Infinity dollars. All of the value in the current system will be converted to Bitcoin, and we will judge all value in terms of its Bitcoin value. 10K on hold as Bitcoin sees price pullback. More analysis from Coinbase and Omkar Godbol. Let's go straight to the view. Bitcoin remains on the hunt for a bullish break above the 10,000 mark. There is a risk of a pullback to 8,600 range in the short term. Only a close below the ascending 10-day moving average at 8,671 would abort the short-term bullish view. Bitcoin was the 9th most read article on Wikipedia in 2017. Bitcoin is more popular than Wonder Woman and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson on Wikipedia. Once again, people want to know about Bitcoin. People want to get involved. This is just getting warmed up. Bitcoin is the greatest scam in history. It's a colossal pump and dump scheme, the likes of which the world has never seen. And of course, the source for this, Bill Harris, former CEO of Intuit and founding CEO of PayPal and Personal Capital. So once again, to reiterate, in case you've forgotten, Bitcoin directly competes with PayPal. PayPal attempted to be internet currency, but didn't have the balls to allow it to become decentralized. PayPal instead created a centralized version of the internet currency, almost as if it was an example of what not to do. PayPal had to cut off many large people, such as WikiLeaks, because of political reasons. They also froze accounts randomly because of eBay complaints, and have become well known for PayPal as the place where your money gets taken from you and it never comes back. Unlike Bitcoin, which if you hold it properly in your own wallet, can never be taken from you. It makes sense why PayPal, who is so threatened by this new technology, would have their CEO go out on such a ridiculous article. The greatest scam in history. Kyle Torpy, writing in Forbes, disagrees with Bill Harris, saying, he says it's a scam, and here's why he's wrong. As Kyle says, there are many reasons why Bitcoin has value. It's actually ridiculous to say that it has no value. As he says here, so the key point here is that there's definitely value in Bitcoin as a censorship-resistant, seizure-resistant form of digital value with an apolitical monetary policy. And this value may increase in relevance as the world becomes more digitalized. Critics are free to make the case that Bitcoin is overvalued at any point in time, But to say it has no value whatsoever has no basis in reality. Great quote from Kyle Torpy, friend of the show. And now it's time for MIT Technology Review to say something incredibly stupid. Let's analyze. Just as the price of Bitcoin was going up, the opponents of Bitcoin reached over to their FUD shelf and said, hey, what do we have? How about an article from MIT called Let's Destroy Bitcoin? As the article says, there are 3 ways that the author thinks that Bitcoin could be brought down, co-opted, or made irrelevant. Let's listen to his stupid ideas. Number 1, government takeover. But once again, the words are wrong. Takeover means that you actually go in and take something over. What he's talking about is government competition. Government competition would be very rough for Bitcoin because the government can offer you one thing that you could never buy or pay for in Bitcoin. That's your taxes. A monopoly as customers would be selling their Bitcoin at tax time to buy Fedcoin. Kind of seems like what just happened already, with people selling at tax time to buy US dollars to pay their tax bills. The government coin could expand and be used in stores and so forth, but once again, Bitcoin would exist as an independent monetary unit, not controlled by any government. I doubt that you could buy drugs or prostitution with government coin, allowing a loophole where Bitcoin would continue to exist as the dark economy or as just the economy where you don't want the government to know what you're buying. Privacy. Remember privacy? Option 2, Facebook sneak attack. Once again, it's an attack and it's not a surprise. You need to be more careful with the words you use. Facebook could compete with Bitcoin. Facebook could create their own Bitcoin. But once again, much like the federal government coin, it would never eliminate Bitcoin because Facebook coin would never allow you to buy the thing you want to buy. As we've seen in the news at Congress and so forth, Facebook's not interested in your privacy. They're interested in connecting you together, which is actually the opposite of privacy. So Facebook coin would connect you together and let Facebook know about everything that you're buying. Boy, that sounds great. This is really going to take Bitcoin down. Let's move on to option 3. Go forth and multiply. The author dreams of a tokenization of the world where you would buy and exchange Facebook Cash, Apple Cash, and even Toyota Cash. As he says, his dream is that they would somehow make this distributed barter economy efficient. This would be a very complicated and advanced solution where you would trade your Apple Cash for some Toyota Cash, some Facebook Cash, which you would then trade for Best Buy Cash, which you could trade for Logan's Roadhouse Cash or perhaps McDonald's Cash so that you could finally buy a Big Mac. It sounds ridiculous, but it is possible that the computer systems in between could mask the complexity, allowing the user to understand and use the system, creating the tokenization of everything that he's talking about. But once again, tokenization of everything does not mean that there would be a drug coin, prostitution coin, and anything that the government doesn't want you to buy, but you want to buy coin. Bitcoin would still exist. Bitcoin would still be the mother of all cryptocurrencies and still valuable among those who value their privacy and don't want to trade between thousands of other garbage coins. I'm not very impressed with MIT's 3 ways to kill Bitcoin. I wish they would try harder next time. I'd prefer to see an intelligent argument here rather than the government could compete with Bitcoin. Facebook could compete with Bitcoin. 1,000 other tokens could compete with Bitcoin. None of these involve destruction. They involve competition, and Bitcoin would weather and survive the competition in some form, regardless of the strength and money and size of the attackers, be it the government, Facebook, or 1,000 altcoins. Prudent or Folly. Brokers are shunning Bitcoin. They're supposed to be experts. They're supposed to tell you what stocks to buy. They're reading all the magazines and they're looking at all the columns, but they're not interested in Bitcoin. If you're a broker and you're not recommending Bitcoin, which continues to go up every single year except one. What's wrong with you? Do you not like making money? Maybe you should quit your job. And if you work at a big brokerage, as it says in the article, that prohibits their financial advisors from making cryptocurrency recommendations, maybe you're working for the wrong company. Maybe you're not actually serving your customers. Maybe you're denying them a chance to profit from Bitcoin. TD Ameritrade put an actual ad on the Bitcoin blockchain. Here's the fun thing about this. TD Ameritrade thinks they're being really snarky and really cool, putting this ASCII flag of TD Ameritrade into the blockchain. But what's funny about this is that this flag will actually outlast their company. Place your bets today, but I say there's very little chance that the TD Ameritrade company outlasts this flag that they put into the blockchain. It will always be there, and Bitcoin will always be there. But TD Ameritrade, not so sure. Bitcoin will hit $250,000 in 4 years. It's worth reminding you again that Tim Draper is very prescient, an early supporter of Tesla, Skype, and Hotmail. The man credited with the idea of putting the referral link on the bottom of every email in Hotmail. Do you like free email? Get a Hotmail account. At the time, it was seen as a horrible idea because it went into your email, which was seen as private email by many people. It was as if they went into your snail mail and put a little signature at the bottom. But as far as marketing success for Hotmail, it did incredibly well and has been copied by everyone. So we have someone who sees things in advance, who invests in things in advance, who bought all the Silk Road Bitcoins on the first auction, and now says that it will hit $250,000 in 4 years after putting much of his money where his mouth was, with several classes at Boost and Draper University supporting Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. Are you going to ignore Tim Draper again? Financial firms are ready to enter the cryptocurrency market, says new survey from Thomson Reuters. That's right, they're coming, and maybe they're the ones making the institutional buys that are driving the price of Bitcoin up. Those large green volume candles that seem unexplained but keep appearing over and over again. The banks have no choice at this point but to hedge against the success of cryptocurrency. If Bitcoin succeeds like we believe it will succeed, the banks will need to own some. If they don't buy some now, they'll never get enough to still be banks. Without Bitcoin, there's no future for these banks. Police in Chinese city seize 600 computers used to mine Bitcoin. If you can't trust the police, who can you trust? This reminds me of the Silk Road case, where the investigators of the Silk Road stole hundreds of thousands of dollars from Ross Ulbricht while they were investigating him. He went to jail, but so did they. 5 people are under investigation, and another has been detained in the Tijan case. The police were using 600 computers to mine cryptocurrency, and were found out because the local power grid operator reported abnormal electricity usage. Nice try, coppers. Bitcoin is one of the few things surging in a sea of losses. Once again, Bitcoin's not just a hedge for the banks, it's a hedge against the normal economy. As we saw yesterday, the Dow Jones Industrial Average went down about 500 points in a single day. This keeps happening, as if there's some kind of insecurity or fear in the traditional markets, fear of the future. However, Bitcoin has no such fear. Bitcoin loves the future. And more importantly, Bitcoin loves chaos. What's bad for the traditional economy is good for Bitcoin. That's why it's a hedge. And if Bitcoin succeeds, it's bad for the traditional economy again. Nasdaq is open to becoming a cryptocurrency exchange, CEO says. Well, you capitulate and you capitulate and you capitulate. The people who ignored us 5 years ago, the people who said we were ridiculous garage hobbyists with our ridiculous miners and our spendable coin and our 21 million units, have now completely turned around, so much so that they want to join us and they want to become a crypto exchange. They're waiting until the regulation is smoothed out, but how much longer will they be able to leave these profits on the table? I don't think very much longer. Sex work is moving to blockchain payments. And while it's focused on some new cryptocurrency that I'm not even going to read about, once again, PayPal freezes everyone's account if there's anything sex related. One customer had $2,000 stolen from her. The New York City based Humiliatrix opened one of her accounts one day to find they've been suspended. Perhaps it's time to switch to Bitcoin. Bitcoin could never be taken from you. Bitcoin would be in your own wallet on your own computer, unless you use Coinbase. More and more, people who want to do business outside of the traditional system, people who the traditional system has rejected, will move to Bitcoin. Iceland's big heist suspect has been arrested. The most infamous in Amsterdam. The arrested man, Thor Stephenson, said, "I simply refuse to be in prison of my own will, especially when the police threaten to arrest me without explanation." Stephenson is likely to be extradited to Iceland, where he is accused of stealing 600 computers at a value that are currently offered a reward for $60,000. The 600 computers, Bitcoin miners, were stolen across 4 separate thefts in what is Iceland's largest crime to date. As the police said last month, everything points to this being a very highly organized crime. "I'd put new money into Bitcoin, not Bitcoin Cash," says Tom Lee of Fundstrat Investors. Tom Lee of Fundstrat Investors, who was recently saying that Bitcoin will go as high as $25,000 a coin, has warned people not to invest in Bitcoin Cash. While he says that there is merit to Bitcoin Cash and their large block argument, he says, "If I were putting new money to work today, a fresh dollar, I would be a lot more interested in buying a laggard that could attract inflows, as opposed to something that's already potentially overbought." And it seems like a good time to read Neil Woodfine's post of a quick summary of the bankruptness of Bcash that he posted to an internal board in February. He's got a picture of a fake PlayStation that calls itself the Polly Machine. "It's just not a game anymore," the strange imitation console says. As Neil says, many descriptions of the debate over Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash make the issue sound like it was the outcome of a reasonable political disagreement, when it is in fact something much more sinister. Increasing the block size leads to greater centralization risk. Increasing the block size leads to greater censorship risk. Increasing the block size is not a realistic midterm or long-term solution to Bitcoin scaling. SegWit on Bitcoin has already induced a moderate block size increase by a factor of around 2 via backwards compatible soft fork. The Bcash team removed important Bitcoin innovations such as SegWit and RBF replaced by Fee, basically cutting off any hope of layer 2 solutions. Even Bcash proponents admit that layer 2 solutions may be needed to scale the cryptocurrency. Back to this. Let's see. There will be no meaningful development of the work carried out on Bcash. Major merges are just copy and paste jobs of Bitcoin core work. Bcash is developed in a closed environment with little known about decision-making processes. None of the few developers working on Bcash have a recognized track record in cryptocurrency or any other relevant disciplines. The main proponents for Bcash are known scammers, crooks, con artists, and anti-Bitcoin politicers, notably Roger Ver, Craig Wright, Calvin Ayre, Jihan Wu, and Jeff Garzik. You'll struggle to find a Bcash proponent in real life that is not an employee of one of the Bcash companies, Bitmain and Bitcoin.com, or receiving investments, donations, or grants from them. Bitcoin.com is paying Bcash sock puppets on Twitter via Bitcoin birds. Bcash is being promoted in a way that is designed to mislead investors. For example, the hysterical reactions to anyone calling it Bcash, claiming that Bcash is the real Bitcoin, attempts to brand Bitcoin as Bitcoin Core, listing Bcash as Bitcoin on Bitcoin.com, or the purchase of Bitcoin Twitter account to promote Bcash, and more. Bcash has little or no transaction volume. At many points, it has had fewer transactions than either Litecoin or Dogecoin. No one is using any of these coins. Bcash pumps tend to coincide very neatly with extensive spam attacks on the Bitcoin network, this last pump excluded. The complete lack of any coherent ideology within Bcash's proponents' discourse, particularly with regards to economics and cypherpunk ideals. The scarcity of Bitcoin and Bcash are not equal. Strapping a blockchain onto something and applying a bit of proof of work does not result in "that was easy" scarcity. Scarcity is a digital currency only maintained by the rules of the software. If the rules can be easily changed, then the scarcity is inferior to a system where the rules cannot be changed easily. Bitcoin has demonstrated quite effectively that changing the rules is very, very difficult. Despite the huge political and economic support for SegWit2x, it failed miserably. Even SegWit, which was almost universally desired by all proponents of the network, took 3 long years before it was implemented. Bcash, on the other hand, is the opposite. The rules have been changed many times in its short history, with no debate or due process. Most notably, the changes to untested and buggy difficulty adjustment algorithms. Worse, regular rule changing is embraced through a hard fork minor hash power faux democracy. Too long, didn't read? Friends don't let friends take Bcash seriously. And he links to a picture of Johnny Worker, old Scotch whiskey, red labial, again showing an inferior and counterfeited product. And now more on Bcash. We had a post from Brian Hoffman, one of the creators of the Open Bazaar project, who was upset about this screenshot. Let's go ahead and take a look at the screenshot. We're looking at the screenshot. It says Bitcoin BCH, Bitcoin Core BTC. So if you use the Block Explorer on Roger's site, God damn it, people calling me during the show. Stop calling me during the show. It's not going to improve anything. You want to be on the air? I'll put you on the air. Like, come on. Bitcoin and Bitcoin Core, as you can see, they're improperly labeled. The website would confuse you and cause you to buy the wrong thing. It could also cause you to send the wrong thing to your wallet, losing whatever you had bought. And as I said, it's sad when otherwise smart people can no longer recognize fraud. Selling Bcash as Bitcoin is fraud. Peter Todd says, I've explained it this way a few times. If I bought something from you with a price quoted in Bitcoin and then sent you BCH instead, I can guarantee you a judge would rule against me for committing fraud. This isn't a philosophical debate. This is a well-defined financial asset. As Cobra says, imagine if after the American War of Independence and the United States was born, that George Washington ran around telling people that the USA is England and insisted it be written as England, parentheses, USA, and said he was implementing the true vision of the Magna Carta. Just makes no sense. The executive director of the Bitcoin Foundation is now Lou Klassen. If you're not familiar with Lou, he's Vinny Lingham's business partner at Newtown Ventures. And as you know, Vinny supports BCH and thinks Bitcoin is failing. According to this Twitter post, now Roger has allegedly taken over the Bitcoin Foundation. The only thing the Bitcoin Foundation should be doing is spreading the word that Bitcoin Cash has nothing to do with Bitcoin, that it is a social engineering attack on the Bitcoin network. It should be spending its PR and legal budget exploring how to combat this fraud. And 4 years ago today, I went to Dogecoin in San Francisco with my friends Eric and Davi Barker, Muslim agorist. I also got to meet Jackson Palmer while I was there. It was a great event put on by Tina Hui of Follow the Coin. Very fun. Thanks to Automatic and WordPress for hosting the event 4 years ago. And let's see, I wanted to start this from the beginning. I'm going to refresh it. We'll see if it loads. Another great gift from Jim BTC at Jim BTC. Mr. Crypto Guy? I'm extraordinarily busy, sir. I just wanted to ask about the profit, the lifetime supply of crypto profits for Charlie. When does he get it? He doesn't. Why not? Because he broke the rules. What rules? We didn't see any rules, did we, Charlie? Wrong, sir. Wrong. Under page 4 of my Twitter feed, 5 months ago, the tweet he likes, it states clearly that all profits will become null and wrecked if ignored. As you can read for yourself on this photostatic coffee, do not invest more money than you can afford to lose. This is not financial advice, etc., etc. Never buy and sell on emotion. Always have a plan, etc., etc. Never get complacent and refuse to lose. Risk. It's all there, black and white, clear as crystal. You FOMO'd in at the top. You blew out your account, and you panic sold at the bottom. So you get nothing. You lose. Willy Wonka. What a great movie. And as Wayne says about every TA expert ever, it could go up or down, but it's more likely to go down. The price goes down. See, guys, I'm a genius. Price goes up. Well, I did say it could go either way. You got to wonder what you're trusting. You know, these charts only show the past. They don't show the future. There's no chart that shows the future. That's interesting, huh? Never think of that. Poloniex is having trouble with ERC20 token deposits and withdrawals because of the reported batch overflow bug. More trouble for Ethereum and their ERC20 tokens. I hope that it's fixed soon. They say it was re-enabled 19 minutes later. Nice work, Poloniex. And a shout out to Morgan, who's facing a lot of trouble in federal court for selling Bitcoin on local Bitcoins. If you'd like to support Morgan and help pay for his legal defense, which is also a legal defense of Bitcoin, as all he was doing was selling Bitcoins on local Bitcoins, please donate to this QR code and follow Morgan on Twitter at NodeFather, N-O-D-E Father. Morgan's incredibly dedicated to Bitcoin and has even recently tattooed the Bitcoin symbol on his arm. So if you would like to support Morgan, that would be a great thing for you to do. Even $10 or $5 would help his legal defense. Thank you for your support, my friend Morgan. Nick Scabo, perhaps Satoshi, is once again talking about the history of money, like you would expect from Satoshi. Trust minimized global money was the precious metal itself, not the form it took. Silver mined in the New World took various forms. It was traded and taken and spread among the world. Ingots, coins, and wires, among others. And Nick Scabo also talked about DNS being hijacked once again to steal money from a web wallet. Again. And as he says definitively, web wallets are security holes. Mom, you should clean your room. Teen, shut up, Mom. Jordan Peterson, you should clean your room to stop the dragon of chaos from consuming Western civilization. Teen, this is genius. Interesting commentary on Jordan Peterson's advice that before you go out into the world and tell people what to do, you should first clean your room. Not bad advice. I also watched an interesting positive video from a naval admiral who said his first thing was to make his bed every day. And that if you make your bed every day, at the very least, you know that you have somewhere to sleep at night. It was an impressive start to his day. And Bangkok Bacon wrote in saying that everyone should have a hobby. And a British blogger sent bread to the edge of space and then ate it. Pretty interesting stuff. He had a camera on the bread the whole time. He said that it still tasted good, but that it was cold, as if it had been in the refrigerator or a freezer. Bread from space. Isn't that fun? And I talked about how I convinced 2 more Uber drivers to check out Bitcoin. And Jose responded saying, I think half of the Bitcoin community are former Uber drivers. And he's got a great image that from Wolf of Wall Street. He says, hey, listen, I quit. He showed me this Bitcoin thing. And Wayne Vaughn checked in with, first they ignore you, then they laugh at you, then they fight you, then you win. Here's to all of us who are ignored and laughed at for years. We're still fighting important battles. Winning now seems inevitable. Bitcoin. And it was short-lived, but I'm sure it will come again. It's time. Everyone loves these Vegeta, I don't know his name. I don't watch this show. It's from, I guess, Dragon Ball Z. But he flames up and he turns on and he says, it's over 9,000. And I don't know. Everyone loves these things. It's super fun. This one had the Bitcoin logo on it. I thought it was fun. And I've been reading Marshall McLuhan's book. The Medium is the Massage. It's incredibly prescient for a book written in the 70s or perhaps the 60s. One thing he said recently in a couple pages in the introduction, he said, that one big gossip column that is unforgiving, unforgetful, and from which there is no redemption, no erasure of early mistakes. And he's just talking about the media in general, but it seemed to almost perfectly describe Facebook and what happens to people on the internet, just the way that everything you do becomes evidence that could be used against you. And the entire colossal system now has turned, and it's no longer about media or popular famous people. It's about everybody now. So I'm having a great time in Denver. It snowed and rained on me yesterday. Pretty good welcome up here. And I walked to 2 bookstores, an art gallery, and by the ballpark. I bought a book and some tea. Having a great time in Denver. And almost to the end of this show. People keep calling me on the phone. It must be time to go to our event, which should be the next slide. There it is. The World Crypto Network presents a Bitcoin all-star panel this Wednesday in Denver at the Grid Collaborative Workspace at 445 Broadway. Come check it out. There'll be Thomas Hunt, Jeffrey Jones, The Vortex, Andy Hoffman, Adam Meister, and much, much more. We will try to live stream the event, but live streams never seem to work well. So I did bring my real video camera, for which I will record it and upload it when I have decent internet. Right now, I have about 2 megabytes a second or whatever, so it'd be very difficult to upload a 3-hour video. But when I get back to good internet, I will upload the high-quality version. It'll just take a little longer. I just want to thank everyone for your kind donations yesterday. We celebrated the 5th, or 2 days ago, we celebrated the 5th anniversary of Mad Bitcoins and my involvement in this space, making videos. And we'd like to thank donors 0.0021, 0.00056287, 0.002, 0.0005625, 0.0011963, 0.01371993, 0.0011236, 0.0050256, and 0.002675. As always, you could donate at any time by pausing the video and donating to the QR code on your screen. Thank you so much for your support and donations that make this show possible. Give us a thumbs up down below. Be sure to subscribe. And if you haven't already, join the World Crypto Network on Twitter at World Crypto Network and at Mad Bitcoins. Thanks so much for your support. I'm going to have to call back these people that keep calling you. Recommendation, The Medium is the Massage. Malcolm McLuhan. It's very old, but it's very thoughtful. I'd always read more descriptions of his work than his actual work, and it's great to get to the source. All media work us over completely. You have no idea how the media is affecting you. You have no idea the things that could be happening. Interesting, interesting book. But thanks so much for watching. Be sure to check us out later tonight. We'll have the live stream. If you're in the Denver area, come on by. Otherwise, that's about it. Until next time, bye-bye.